ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network, or you're watching us on YouTube or on Broadway World. I love the movie. Look, I love theater. Listen, I like theater. This is a Broadway World show. I like theater, but movies is universal. Everybody can go home, watch a movie, go to the movies, and we love science fiction. And even though I'm scared, and I'm a scaredy cat, and I don't love aliens coming to my house, or I don't love science, I get nervous. I'm gonna stick out Lumina because Gino Mckoy is here. And Gino has broke the internet with this trailer. We love Eric Roberts, who's been to this show. He's a legend. Icon. His book is coming out. We love him. We love Eliza. We love the whole thing. Gino Mckoy, director and writer extraordinaire. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Robert. It's a pleasure to be here. And yeah, I hope you love the movie.
But I am a scaredy cat. Look, Gino, am I going to go to sleep?
I think you'll go to sleep well. You sleep well.
Okay. Well, I'm already scared. You'll
sleep well. But you know what? You're going to have a lot of laughs. You're gonna laugh through the movie. I wrote it as a comedy initially, a comedy sci-fi. Of course, we infused horror into it, with some elements of love and the love triangle and everything else. And yeah, you're gonna love it.
All right, I'm ready. Well, listen, I'm fascinated by your story because learning a little bit about you're Trinidadian.
Yeah, from Trinidad and Tobago, but I grew up in Canada.
Okay, got it. And you became interested in science fiction, but when you read about your career, you've written music, you've been a musician, you've been a screenwriter, you've directed movies, you do a lot of artistic things.
Yeah, when I first went to Hollywood, I was supposed to sign with Universal Music, and I was coming off, engineering my album with Nick Lagona, who did Rush and Cat Stevens and everything else like that, and he's like, you got to go to LA because of my talent and stuff. And then I hooked up with David Kirschenbaum. And David, he did Janet Jackson. Duran Duran. The list goes on with David. And yeah, I didn't want to sign with the record label. I wanted to stay independent. They wanted to change my style. My style was more like Lenny Kravitz, Police, live instruments, like real music.
Yeah.
Not the autotune stuff, because I'm classically trained. So I'm a classically trained tenor. I was trained by one of the top vocal trainers in Canada. He's Russian. I was singing Italian and Russian arias and stuff like that. So I'm classically trained. I'm a lyrical tenor, and yeah, I wanted to sing real music and just do pop rock stuff. And they didn't want me to do that at the labels. They wanted to change my entire style. I said no. I decided not to sign when I moved out to LA. So I had to figure out how am I going to get my music out. And I started writing movies. And my first movie I wrote about was the deep web and Bitcoin. I was the first person in Hollywood to write about that. I had my FBI consultant from the FBI Entertainment Division because my father's friend was senior FBI and senior Homeland Security. And yeah, I was the first person in Hollywood to write about the deep web and Bitcoin, even though House of Cards lied. They weren't the first. I was. My script was, registered with the Library of Congress and the Writers Guild of America West, and that was back in 2010, 2011. So I wrote that quite a while ago, and yeah, then it went into development hell. The script had a lot of A-list names attached, like John Travolta and everyone else, and Tyrese Gibson, everybody, Ben Kingsley, Sir Ben, and went into development hell, and then number of years afterwards, in 2016, I wrote Lumina.
Now, I want people to know you wrote this in 2006 because people think, you must have wrote this last year. You got all the money and you filmed the movie. It is a long journey to get this done.
Oh yeah, it's a labor of love, Robert. It's something that people take for granted, what you're seeing going on in the industry right now, in the film industry, where a lot of people are losing their jobs. Movies are not being done. I was just watching this TikToker who is a filmmaker, who's the first assistant camera, and he moved to I think he moved to Georgia. He moved to Atlanta, having a tough time. The whole industry. 60% of the TV and feature films, TV shows and feature films have disappeared. Um, so for me, I wrote this in 2016, 8 years to get to that point, and then we did it. We shot it during COVID. It was the most difficult time it was to shoot a movie. During COVID, 2020, October, everything shut down. I lost my entire camera crew. They went back to London 4 days after we shot because we were shooting. We finally got to shoot during Christmas time of 2020, and the second wave of COVID happened. And Larry Smith was my DP. He did Kubrick. So he did he also worked with Nicholas Winding Refn as well too. Some beautiful stuff. He's a very, very good DP. I lost my entire British camera team, and I shot with my A camera operator who worked on a lot of Marvel stuff, Raquel Gallego, and yeah, we went through so much to get this movie done. So filmmakers, it's a long journey. It's a long, arduous journey. Shooting during COVID was the hardest time to shoot for any filmmaker, and coming out, and we had a lot of sabotage on the film release for this movie. And a lot of people wanted to see it, and our theaters got dropped at the last minute. And that created a lot of problems for us because we had over 1 million or more people wanting to see the movie, and they couldn't because a lot of people are not going to drive hour, 2 hours to go and see a movie. They want it conveniently, especially since we had such a wide marketing campaign, 100 million views, over 100 million views on all the marketing, on all of the social media platforms, and over close to 2 million likes and shares and everything. So, it's tough as an independent company. It's tough as an independent studio and an independent filmmaker going out there and getting this out because, the studios are struggling right now and they don't want to see an independent come and trump any studio film going out there. That's why we don't see independent films at the theaters anymore. They're not getting wide theatrical releases. It's almost non-existent.
Yep.
And that's another reason why the industry is struggling too, because before it was 70 to 80% of the industry was independent films.
Right.
And they got releases. And people would go to the cinemas and see it. And there was so much content, so much great independent stuff going out there to the theaters that drove people to the cinemas. And then in turn, we had those independents that did well would then go back and make more movies and create more jobs for hardworking American filmmakers.
It's 100% right, and I think that you are right, Gino. That we look back when I grew up. I'm born in '83. Growing up, we think of a lot of the movies that won Academy Awards, movies that were big giant blockbusters that were literally filmed as independent films that got a release, that built an audience, that got a place. But I have so many actor friends who are not movie stars, TV stars that do not have work. The industry has not recovered from the strike. It's still recovering even from COVID. And to be sabotaged, to not let the money and the economics, Gino, you scare the industry when you have 2 million people want to see your movie. That's the truth.
And 2 million people want to see my movie the same day that Fly Me to the Moon, which is $100 million movie that's opening. Even though I love the actors on that movie, you know what I mean? Even though I love Nicolas Cage, he was in Longlegs. I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage, but he was opening the same day, and they gave all our screens to Longlegs.
Yeah,
and that's a studio decision with the theaters because the theaters depend on studio content because they can't survive on independent content because independents just are not getting theatrical releases, and they're not getting the P&A and marketing budgets to go wide. And it's sad because growing up, like you said, you're 83, I'm 80, and I remember watching movies like Philadelphia. It was a brilliant movie. And the soundtrack with Bruce Springsteen and stuff like that, and that was going out there, and I was making $100 million at the box office.
Right.
As a great drama with great actors like Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington, with a great story, and it was a drama that pulled on those heartstrings. But guess what? That's not happening anymore, brother.
Right.
And that's a tragedy to not only theater and film and theater actors going into film and film actors and the producers and the writers, but not having independent films in that space, having that theatrical release is what is basically creating this big gap between people having jobs and having no jobs. Because if the studios are not going, you need the independents to pick up where the studios left off. And that's the only way our industry is going to survive.
Right.
And right now, it's not surviving. It's headed towards oblivion because all the productions are going overseas, and I had to shoot overseas too because I just couldn't afford to shoot in the U.S. Even though
Right.
I want to shoot in the U.S., I want to
Right.
shoot in L.A. But if I'm getting a 30% cash rebate, right, and I'm bringing all my heads from the U.S. and everyone else, they're getting jobs when they were getting jobs for a year and a half during COVID, and actors getting jobs when they were getting jobs for a year and a half during COVID, the whole shutdown. Then that's a good thing. But we should be getting 30% cash rebates in LA. We should be
Absolutely.
shooting movies in LA in the United States. You know that?
Absolutely. Yes. What and why aren't you? Why, right. Exactly right.
You shouldn't have to pick up your family. Like, I mean, God bless Georgia, but like, you shouldn't have to pick up your family and go to Georgia when you're in LA for 20 years.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, entire uprooting your entire family, and you go to Georgia now and like, okay, sorry guys, we're relocating these productions abroad. Like, I mean, sorry,
Yes.
bye. That's
Literally.
what's going on.
What can you say about this film in particular? Why do you think it had the buzz? What about the story makes us all want to see and check this movie out?
The topic, UAPs, UFOs, Congress, the fact that I have spoken to so much military, former Air Force, former Navy guys that have seen UFOs, have seen UAPs, that have had extraterrestrial experiences, some have been abducted, and they're normal people, Robert. You know, they face a lot of ridicule. They face a lot of people like teasing and saying like, "Oh, this didn't happen to you. You're crazy." They're not crazy people. They're real people with real families. They didn't want that to happen to them, but they wouldn't be true to themselves if they're not telling the truth. So they came out and they spoke to me and they trusted me, like through MUFON and these other groups that talk about it, and that work with the Pentagon. And you know, that's why the topic is trending. That's why this movie, because your girlfriend gets abducted by aliens. You go in search of her. A lot of comedic things happen, but it's a serious topic.
Right.
And we had 16 critics on Rotten Tomatoes that spoke badly about our movie. And some people are like, "Oh, well, people spoke badly about it." I'm like, "Well, we have 50 other critics that are non-Rotten Tomatoes critics that spoke great about it, and we got 100 people that want to put their thousands that want to put their comment on Rotten Tomatoes to talk about the movie, and some of them have basically, put their comments on Rotten Tomatoes, and it hasn't been published for the last 2 months. And certain things like that that's happening because, it's like 16 people shouldn't decide whether a film is good or bad. So people should go and see this movie because it's entertainment. You're supposed to be going to the theater and be entertained.
Absolutely. I don't understand that in the least. People go see the movie and see it for yourself. So here's my $1,000,000 question. How do we see the movie? What is the way to see the movie? And how do we support a movie like this as consumers?
Well, we're going back in theaters September 20th in select cities. You could go check it out in your city. Hopefully it's showing there. After that, we're going to be on streaming platforms a month and a half from then. And you can see it on Amazon. You can see it on a new platform we're going to be on called Paraflix. It's like a new platform that's promoting paranormal, UFOs, horror, sci-fi stuff. That's my friend Patty, my friend Natalie opened that started that streaming network. Is going to be really big. We're going to be on all the other streaming platforms after our theatrical release, which goes on September 20th. Um, reason people should see this movie because it deals with real topics that are relevant right now, the Congress and people being abducted and UAPs, and it's comedy, it's entertainment, it's intentional comedy. Unlike some of the critics, and one of them that actually made up a scene in the movie that didn't exist, and he critiqued it. And my friends in Hollywood were like, "What the hell is going on?" Unlike those guys, those critics that have been bashing the film and everything else, go see it for yourself. Laugh, enjoy it. It's intentional comedy. It deals with serious topics about UAPs and UFOs, and people need to see that because you know what? If you think they don't exist, you really need to watch the movie and really need to check out the interviews of these former Marines, former military, former Air Force, officers that are talking about it, that are not crazy, that are not don't need psychological help, and they witnessed this, and it was eyewitness accounts, and their opinion deserves to be heard. They don't deserve to be ridiculed. They deserve to be heard because
Absolutely.
they serve the country. They serve the country. They gave their lives to the country, and at least you could listen to them and respect their opinion.
Absolutely, 100%. I think it's fascinating. I think there's so much talk about extraterrestrial life, about UFOs, about what the government knows, what we don't know. It's a topic that will live forever. We all want to know the answers to it. We all have our ideas. People say that they tell their stories, they get ridiculed and all those things. But you could see a movie and be entertained, laugh, have amazing actors in it, and have an enjoy. To me, Gino, it's like a Friday night. You order a pizza. You're going to go to the movies. You're going to watch this movie on demand. You can watch it and enjoy it and have a good evening and have a fun time with your family.
Oh yeah, or going to theater, man. It's best to see it on the big screen because Dolby Atmos. Our editor is Tom Noble, Oscar winner. He did Red, he did Witness, he did a lot of big movies. And we cut this to be comedy, and we cut this to have a serious message at the same time. And it's entertainment. You got to go watch it. You gotta go fun, laugh, eat popcorn, watch it on the big screen because we shot it in anamorphic. It's made for theaters,
That's
and
it.
if you can't catch it there, catch it on streaming afterwards because it deserves a chance. All the independents deserve a chance.
We sure do.
And I support independent filmmakers and support bloggers and people like yourself, Robert, that go out there and support independent content. And thank you so much for being there and supporting us.
We have to get
without you, without guys like you and other people in the social media space, we won't be able to share our creativity with the world. And we need independent filmmakers to come back. We need people to go and see independent films in theaters. It can't just be studio tempos.
Yes.
We need that.
Well, I can tell you this much from me to you as an independent artist, as an independent talk show, podcast, blog spot over here. We appreciate. We wouldn't have a show without guests like you, and we wouldn't be entertained without independent artists that are out here making content for us all. So we're really grateful. We are going to check September 20th. This film is back out, so you can check out. Where can we go to find out information? Where can we follow you? What can we do? Tell us.
At Lumina the movie on
We'll put it
Instagram.
below.
Yeah, at Lumina the movie on Instagram. At Gold Dove Pictures on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Facebook, everything else. Lumina the movie at Gold Dove Pictures, which is our company. Gold Dove Entertainment is our company, and you can check me out, Gino Mckoy, on Instagram, on Verified. You can check out my Verified page on Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, we're gonna be putting all this stuff there. Just go and check it out. And we want people to support us. We want people to support your program and everyone else because, if independence dies, so does the movie industry.
I hear you. That's 100% true. So let's go support the movies. And like he said, go to the movies, go buy your popcorn, buy your soda, sit down and make it an event. Because when I was growing up, Gino, going to the movies was an event. It was something we looked forward to. It wasn't just streaming on your television. No shade to streaming. Thank God that's access to that, to art.
Yeah, no shade to it. But you know what? I'm like you. We grew up in the same era, Robin. Yeah. I mean, I love going to movies. I love seeing it on the big screen. I love hearing that Dolby Atmos. So like IMAX or just like sitting there having popcorns, getting out. We're post-COVID right now, so let everybody get out, man. Get out, watch movies. Well, those things. Like I know it's great to see it at home. I know some people have difficulty because they have families and they got kids and stuff. That's cool, but if you get a chance, go and see the movie in the theater. It's a real experience. The sound, the picture, everything. We put a lot into this.
Oh, I could only imagine. Well, I will be checking it out. I will be looking forward to seeing it. And I thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the work that you're doing, spreading the word. All the links and all the information are going to be below. If you're listening to us or you're watching us, no matter where you're watching us or listening to us, make sure you click it and link it. And if you're a sci-fi fan or you're looking for a fun movie to check out, you want to support independent artists, watch the movie. Go check it out. Gino, you sing.
Thank you, brother.
He directs. He writes. Go. You better just do your thing, Gino Mckoy.
Oh yeah. One thing left, Robin. The official soundtrack for the movie, you can get it on Spotify and all the other platforms. Great songs. Everything to Me is a title track that was done with Greg Fillinganes, musical director for Michael Jackson. Ooh. I sang it, and David Kirschenbaum co-produced it with him. Mick Gazowski, 16-time Grammy winner, worked with Outkast, worked with Jamiroquai. He was my engineer on it. So check out the song, Everything to Me. Scentsy Girl, all the other songs on the soundtrack for the movie. You can go on Spotify. It's on all platforms, all music platforms.
All right. Well, we're in. I'm in. let's go. Let's listen to the music. I'm gonna have to write you and DM you on Instagram after I listen to the soundtrack because
Thank you so much. Yeah, I look forward to it. And the soundtrack by a composer, a very, very talented composer, Matthew Sargent, from Greensville, South Carolina. He's amazing. I like to call him the young Hans Zimmer. The soundtrack's amazing.
Okay.
Check it out.
All right, we're in. We thank you so much. Thank you for spending some time with us. Thank you for sharing about your art and vision and your thoughts about the industry. We feel you on it all, and we hope people come out and check it out. We're looking forward to the next one. We hope you come back and tell us all about what you got up.
God willing, brother. Thank you so much, Robert. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Take
Gino.
care. God bless. Thank you,
everybody.
Again. Take care.
Check out Lumina. It's coming back to theaters, and then make sure you check out it, follow it, and click the links below. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks so much.
Take care.